Hello everyone, I am Chester44, also known as Fly, and welcome to this Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous. Last episode, we went dragon hunting. We managed to ambush the dragon and do some damage to it, but then it flew off. We've been tracking it back eastwards for a while, and we've made it to this bloody trail over here. Let's see what we can do. Dark splotches of dried blood are visible on the ground. Its foul, pungent scent awakens the predatory instinct of the hunt. Everything nearby is spattered in blood, as if a battle took place here, or someone slaughtered a herd of goats. Yet this blood belongs to neither human nor goat. Its sulphurous odor indicates that this is the blood of a rare, fire-breathing dragon. Injured and exhausted, the fleeing dragon stopped here to rest. Commander decides to personally examine the trail to impress the assassin. I mean, we have a good chance of doing it. Having examined the blood, the commander points confidently to the south. The dragon's lair is hidden somewhere among the mountain gorges. The dwarf, who has been watching her, nods in approval. He seems impressed by the commander's tracking skills. And it's down this way. The commander and her followers are traversing the mountains, trying to track down the female woundworm that has lately been wreaking havoc around Dresden. The dwarf leading the party approaches the edge of the cliff and points down to the ruins of a tower built upon the rock 300 feet below. Its very existence raises a number of questions. Who would dare to build a tower here, so close to the demons? Why would they erect it here at the bottom of a canyon? An expert analysis of the tower structure provides the answers. Numerous features in its design indicate that the building dates back to the golden age of the Aslanti Empire. It is several times older than the Worldwound and was originally constructed on top of a mountain before the Cataclysm changed everything. The tectonic plates shifted, causing the tower to sink to the bottom of a newly formed canyon, and the mountains rose up around it like the jaws of a predator, ready to snap shut and bury it beneath the rock forever. The ancient ruins have been abandoned for ages, barely visible amidst the steep cliffs. The tower would have remained hidden had the commander's party not discovered it by following the trail of blood. The dwarf signals that it is time to descend. The alpine path leading to the tower soon splits into two directions. On the left is a rocky ledge, dangerously narrow and visibly unstable. On the right is a broad path covered in overgrown brambles and thickets. There are many poisonous plants in these mountains, some of which are so dangerous that merely touching them can lead to numerous adverse reactions. These include, but are not limited to, migraines, disorientation, vomiting, hearing and vision loss, paralysis, and even death. The commander assesses the risks and chooses a path overgrown with suspicious bushes to the right. We'll try that. Okay. The commander decides to take the path to the right, which leads through thick foliage and overgrown bushes. It is most likely full of dangerous vegetation and possibly even carnivorous plants. These plants are difficult to distinguish from their less hazardous counterparts, and only a skilled botanist or a wild animal native to the area might know which specimens pose no threat to humans and which ones must be avoided at all costs. Well, I have the highest perception. The commander orders the most observant member of the party, me, to lead the others through the thicket by following the tracks left behind by local mountain cats. This turns out to be a smart decision. The local predators tend to avoid the most poisonous plants. At the end of the trail, Fly notices the recently mummified corpse of a female mountain cat. It fell prey to a thicket of blood-sucking vines. The path comes to an abrupt end. A recent rock slide has destroyed this section of the trail, leaving behind only a few footholds for those brave enough to attempt the crossing. The commander's allies hastily tie themselves together with rope, hoping to prevent a fall if anyone loses their footing. The dwarf silently indicates his mountaineering equipment. If they choose to climb down the mountain cliff, they will be able to get back onto the path and avoid the dangers ahead. So, 17 or 18. 18 is a lower check. The commander orders the most agile of her companions to carefully lead the party down the slope using the ledges as footholds. Let's hope for a good roll. It is unwise to trust the stability of fallen rock. It is no longer solid stone, and the slightest movement can cause it to collapse. Land leads the party across the increasingly precarious ledge when suddenly there's a sharp crack of splintering rocks. Camellia falls like a stone toward the tower ruins below. Her allies reach out to catch her, and succeed, unfortunately. Camellia clings to her allies, pulling them with her as she plummets through the air. The safety rope grows taut as each member of the party is dragged over the precipice one after the other. Amidst a cacophony of shouts and muffled screams, the commander and her followers hit the ground with a resounding thud. Luckily, the ledge was not high enough for the fall to be fatal, but they cover the rocks around them with spattered blood and torn bits of clothing as they tumble toward the dragon's lair. The dwarf leading the party tries desperately to slow his descent with a small axe, and curses furiously, punctuating his numerous obscenities with occasional prayers to Norgerber. I don't think we can use this because I believe the end result is we end up right in front of the dragon and also fatigued, which is going to make it nearly impossible to kill the dragon. Because I think I saw that happen once before, so I'm going to do a reload for this particular moment because that was particularly bad. Yeah, this will not end well. Please hold. Alright, land, please get a success this time. The commander and the companions descend lower and lower, leaping from one ledge to another. Thanks to his combat expertise and presence of mind, Land does not panic or make a single mistake. He skillfully leads his followers across the treacherous terrain, and eventually they reach a secure rock ledge. With a cry of warning, the dwarf points to the sky. Giant birds of prey circle ominously overhead. Their beak morphology indicates their carnivorous nature, and their large size suggests they consider those climbing down the cliff to be prospective prey. It is common for them to fling their quarry against the cliffs and then feed on the carcasses. With ear-piercing shrieks, they swoop into formation and dive down to attack. The commander gives the order to scare off the birds, or deal with the leader of the flock at all costs. Either way, it's going to need to be a roll of 13. Well, let's try scaring off the birds. Give us your best go. Nenio draws her knife and slides the blade against the rock, trying to mimic the sound of a mountain cat sharpening its claws. Instead, there is only the unpleasant sound of a knife scraping against stone. This also dulls the blade, rendering it completely useless against the incoming creatures. Their curved beaks pierce through cloth, leather, and skin, tearing off chunks of flesh. The commander's allies eventually drive them away, but the birds still manage to tear one of the party members from the cliffs. And it's the same result. Please hold. Try again. This time we succeeded. Nenio pulls out a knife and runs the blade over the stones. The metal makes a grating sound and the birds fly away in fright. It is the same sound that their sworn enemies, mountain cats, make when they sharpen their hard claws on the rocks. The party overcomes every obstacle and finally descends to the ruined tower. The mountain has been conquered and no one has fallen victim to its treachery. Now they secretly approach the unsuspecting dragon, stealthily making their way through the surrounding rocks. After leading them to the tower, the dwarf gives his newfound allies a nod of respect and signals for caution. Alright! This is the best way to do it, because now we actually have a chance. So, while we are here, I'm going to drop down a save and then toss out a couple of buffs. Alright, let's see, what buffs are we going to throw out? Well, you can get Protection of Energy. That's going to be a good one for us. You can throw out a Bless on us, I think. That sounds like it'll be a good idea. You... I mean, I have the ability to cast Haste, so I might. And you have Greater Invisibility, which would actually be very good. You know what? You cast Haste. And you're going to be fine with casting Haste. You're going to cast Greater Invisibility on him. And cast it on yourself as well. And you are going to cast a Greater Invisibility on Camellia. That way, all of our melee guys have invisibility.
I'll watch your back.
Camellia, I think you'll be fine with spells for now.
We should move.
Oh, the waiting's never fun. This thing refuses
Nope.
to cooperate.
Is there any other spell I want you to cast? No, I think we're good. Alright. Let's head in.
I'm gone.
Let's try to get as close as we can to the dragon without making any noise, and we'll take it by surprise. Greyboar whispers approvingly. We've crept up on the toothy old lizard without her noticing us. It's a pleasure to work with real professionals. Let's get a little closer so we can attack when she least expects it. The dragon looms over an old elf, her vicious teeth bared in an angry snarl. You'll recognize his face. He is called the Storyteller. I know you're in league with those little parasites who wounded me. They sent you to spy on me. They thought I wouldn't crave the crunch of your old bones. They were wrong. I've always had a special liking for the taste of elven flesh. But I do love to play with my food. What can you offer me in exchange for your pathetic life? Perhaps I won't kill you if you manage to impress me. The Storyteller is pale as a ghost, but he stands strong and doesn't lose his nerve, though his voice trembles slightly as he speaks. A story. Stories are all I have, but some of them are priceless, more valuable than any treasure. This I can offer you in payment. Greyboar, what are we going to do? The dwarf looks at you excitedly. Let's wait for the right moment to attack. This old man is distracting the monster, and we can use it to our advantage. He's one tough old fellow. Anyone else would have been shitting bricks by now. Maybe it's because he's blind. He just can't see the intimidating size of her teeth. Her teeth are really huge. I want big teeth too, but when I grow up and become a big scary dragon, I will help all the poor old people instead of eating them. Ivy makes a noticeable effort to lower her voice. She seems to enjoy this game of hide and seek. Stay quiet and wait for the right moment to attack. 34! Oh, you're good. I have a peculiar item on me. Its previous owner was quite sinister, so I think you'll appreciate this story. The Storyteller produces a small bundle from his bag and opens it to reveal a golden signet ring. As he holds it up in his shaking hands, the old man's voice suddenly changes. His tone grows shrill and angry, taking on an exaggerated quality as if doing a mocking imitation of someone else. Everything in this throne room is so cheap and vulgar. Jamandi Aldori knows nothing about luxury. Another sorry provincial excuse for an aristocrat. And yet I still must bow my head and smile politely as these sword-wagging half-wits. These poor souls have never known anything more luxurious in their life than this rural parody of a palace. I must convince them that I am at their mercy. Soon they will all beg me for mercy, but I'll see that they're given none, or my name isn't Tartuccio. And look at these foolish idiots who want to become a baron. What a parade of louts. A whining, bumbling boor, more beard than face, who drones on. An insolent, unwashed wench carrying around a dull gardening tool as her weapon of choice. An undead sadist carrying an endless amount of emotional baggage from her childhood. Well, she's actually all right, to be fair. But as for the infuriating halfling who never shuts up, how I long to take that little journal of hers and shove it into her blabbering mouth so she'll choke on it and be quiet. A worthless creature who clings like a limpet to someone far more important. My greatest rival. A dark horse. Well, consider this entire performance dedicated to you. The old elf is out of breath, and his diminishing voice becomes harder to discern. That is a reference to the beginning of Kingmaker, specifically Tartuccio, who is a rival of yours, and a bunch of companions you happen to have, which I believe includes an undead elf inquisitor wielding a scythe, a dwarven cleric who worships the god of the end of everything, and a halfling bard, with that last one I believe being the player character. This night will be long and bloody. The mercenaries will storm the palace and kill this useless rabble, hopefully starting with all my rivals. But they won't touch me, for I possess a token of immunity, a ring with King Iravetti's personal coat of arms. After all, it is I who must lead the expedition into the Stolen Lands, not for stupid titles or glory, oh no. Imagine becoming that fool Jamandi's bootlicker until the end of your life. No, my precious, witless little soldiers will procure something a lot more valuable than a barony in the middle of nowhere. Something precious is hidden in the Stolen Lands, a wooden sword created by someone who is truly powerful. Nothing like the pathetic scraps of metal worn by these pompous Aldori simpletons. No, it is a true instrument of fate. It's a pity I don't know how to use it myself, but King Iravetti will pay me a handsome and obscene amount of money for it. Fortune enough for an eternity of endless debauchery, not to mention a little bonus he'll give me for Jamandi's venture collapsing like a house of cards. Merely a trifle, really. Barely pays you a palace in Absalom. And then... Oh, Callistra, the stinkpot with a sword has started flapping her jaws again. Why can't she just shut up? Her manners are worse than a kobold's. Oh, be careful now, Tartuccio. Don't let anything slip about Jamandi. I hope this loudmouth gets stabbed tonight. It's not like you're being kept prisoner. If you don't want to wait, you can always return to the mountains, or whatever other place you crawled out from. I especially advise you to do so if you don't know who the Eldori Swordlords are. The dragon keeps quiet. Finally, she speaks, her voice loud and demanding. How interesting. What happened next? Greybor tenses, ready to spring. He wastes no words. She's thinking. She's distracted. Attack, now! Greybor, to battle! With a deadly silence more frightening than any battle cry, the dwarf drives his weapon deep into the dragon's side just beneath the dragon's wing, where her scaled hide is weakest. The dragon lets out a deafening roar of pain. Through clenched teeth, Greybor gives a low chuckle. Sweet dreams. Combat begins. We'll go with turns this time. Ivu, you're first. Not exactly what I'd consider the best, but it looks like we're all going to be able to get some attacks in.
I'll cut you wide open. Ha!
Alright, Nenio. You... Might not be a bad idea. There's some damage. Darin. You... can't reach him. Fire an arrow. Greybor. Swift studied target. Get some attacks in. Well, you can try anyway. Lan. Extra shots. Spread out a bit. Fire. And as for me, I'm gonna get in there and give an attack. Missed. But we did get that protection from the fire. It has haste. Definitely not good, but it only has haste. I'm not worried about haste. I actually got a hit in, not bad. Alright, get some more attacks in. Alright, you. Any good spells we can cast on it? Like I said, I'm not worried about the haste. Magic missile. Well, it's a little bit of damage. Darin. Can you shatter him bones? Failed to overcome the spell resistance. Greybor gets some shots in. There's some attacks in. Lan, shoot him.
You won't survive me.
And as for me, well, buddy, your touch is like nothing. Dimension Strike.
Strike!
There's a lot of shots. Ivu has taken a lot of damage. We'll definitely be healing her up. Alright, Camellia, start stabbing.
Sacrifice.
Nenio. This is, ranged touch attack. This will be a good shot. Go for it. Alright. Get off me, you vile parasites! Don't let the dragon get off the ground. She'll set everything on fire. Got it. We need to get up to her and kill her immediately. Before she burns everything to the ground.
Oh, skip the
You can get a
pleasantries.
quick healing on us.
Endure this!
And it's dead. Okay. That worked. Greybore looks with satisfaction at the surrounding carnage. That's a job well done. You can use her head to decorate your tent. I'm going back to Dresden. It's been a pleasure working with you. I think we should continue working together.
I'm ready to offer you my services. As you can guess, a full contract will be more expensive than a one-time job. I think 12,500 gold would be a fair price.
I think your services are worth more than that, so I'm willing to double the price.
It is always a great pleasure to work with a client who can tell a professional from an amateur. It's rare these days to find someone who appreciates high-quality work and is willing to pay for what it's worth. I think this is the beginning of a long and productive partnership.
Glad to help. Alright, that went pretty well, all things considered. Definitely need to give some healing to Ivu, but she'll be okay. And we got half of the pear. Not really a good item, in my opinion. And some items here. Let's see.
A success worth
This
the
inscription
praise.
once contained a spell of warning. When an intruder appeared, it would let out a chilling howl to raise the alarm. Fortunately, the enchantment has worn off with the passage of time, so your ears have been spared.
It went splendidly.
This inscription is written in ancient elven script. You recognize the words Stranger's Home, I See You, and I Implore Callistria. It appears to be some kind of protective spell against thieves, but it has lost its power over the years.
A success
Though
worth
this
your
magic
praise.
trap is now old and dysfunctional after centuries of disuse, it would once have been irreversibly blinded any thief who gazed upon it. Oh, nope, that's, never mind, that's
We do
downstairs.
it my way.
Alright. So... Within the pedestal, a faint purple glow emanates from the crystal-shaped hole. Its edges are chipped and cracked, suggesting that whatever it contained has been forcibly removed.
Follow if you dare.
You know what? I'm gonna end this episode here, having gotten through here. Next episode, we'll speak with a storyteller and see what he has to say about why he's here, and then we'll loot the place. That'll be in the next episode. So until then, I am Chester44, also known as Falai. That is me, Greybore, Camellia, Land, Darren, and Nenio. This has been a Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous, and I shall see you all next time.